My first punk experience to come to Seditionaries was 1978, so quite late in the punk theme. But I'd been a bedroom punk for since 76, 77, always followed music and always picked up on musical trends and stuff like that.
We originally met years ago, me and Cliff and a couple of other guys from Nottingham. We was about 11 years old originally, and we played football and train spotted, not a thing a punk would do. And then obviously punk rock came in. We just got into it and got into the clothes and the music, and years on we're still here collecting and dressing up in it.
I used to go to Seditionaries with my friends and hang out there, and a couple of times there was Vivian and Malcolm were in the shop, and I used to buy clothes from them. Used to get a lot of punk clothes. After Seditionaries finished, then we used to go down to World's End.
I was 16, 17 when I first went down to Seditionaries. Very scary place to venture into for the first time. Dark grey, bars on the windows. You had to knock on the door to get in because it was locked.
We saw this ghostly figure walking across the road, draped, and she was completely in all white, with black contact lenses. Quite scary, actually. But the fun thing of it was when we got into Seditionaries, which at that time they used to let two people in and lock the door behind you. Bit intimidating. But when we got in there, she was sat with a cup of tea and digestives watching Tiswas. So we sat and watched Tiswas with her.
She was scary looking, but really quite nice when you got to know. I think she recognised that the provincial guys were starting to come down, and we were quite regular. We'd go down at least once a month, the likes of me and Jeff and our mates. We'd be down at least once a month, and once you got to recognise you could buy stuff that wasn't really on sale, wasn't out on display. So
I went in there and Jordan was saving, and I said, Jim, a helmet on the mannequin. Well, it's like a dummy sort of, the prop in the front of the shop. And he says, yes, it's not for sale. I said, no, I've got the money. So I opened my hand out and he's seen all the money in my hand. He says, no, they're not for sale. I said, Lee Gorman's got one. He said, yeah, but Lee Gorman's in Bow Wow Wow, you aren't. So he says, you'll have to find something else to buy. So I think I bought a few jumpers and that was it. And I never got me a German helmet.
We used to go down on the National Express or the train and get down there on a Saturday morning and spend the day on King's Road. From Sloane Square, walk up the King's Road, go to Great Gear Market, go to Boy, and then end up at Seditionaries or World's End. So, and then walk back down again. It took an entire day doing all that. So, yeah.
It's not like you could go on the internet and just type it in. You had to make a physical effort to get to London, so you had to think, well, if I want to buy a pair of trousers, I have to add the train fare, I have to have the tube fare, then you want something to eat. So, that was all added to it. You couldn't get it anywhere else. So if you wanted a pair of trousers at £35, you'd have to make sure you have about £50 in your pocket, and that's the way it was. Or you could take a chance and send, in them days, because we're just kids, postal orders. And you had to buy your postal orders as well, and then hopefully they'd send it back.
My sister got me a job in a summer in her company in a summer, doing something that I think nobody else wanted to do. It was like cleaning these big horrible chain links. Like they used to strip this machinery down, and it had these big drive chains that used to drive the cogs in the machines, and they were full of grease and oil. Nobody else wanted to do it. You had to clean them with chemicals that I'm sure are illegal these days. But I used to clean these things. They used to pay me all through summer holidays, and then I'd use my money every month to come down to Seditionaries and buy loads of stuff. I used to think it cost a fortune in those days, but then when you think back now to what it actually cost, it's like price of a cup of coffee, but fetches thousands on the market. So these are Westwood boots. These are from World's End, several years ago now. These are fairly new. I bought these last year or earlier this year. I think these are from World's End. This is a Vivian Westwood Chaos handkerchief. This is a repro of a shirt that Malcolm McLaren used to wear. Be reasonable, demand the impossible. But it's just a mate of ours up in Sheffield makes reproduction shirts, and this is one of his. the hat's just from a jumble sale, the jacket's from a jumble sale.
What I'm wearing today, right, these are original Madras trousers. The boots here are modern Westwood boots, which they've done again with the squiggle.
Being Westwood, World's End pirate boots. And I got a Madras trouser and my squiggle top. I've got various different colours, lots of different colours. Got about 8 different tops. And the jacket here, AChildofTheJago, Harris tweed, got trousers to match, and the top here is Jago as well, Jago wide bill hat. Again, Jago, AChildofTheJago, fantastic clothes. Really taken off where Westwood's great clothes left off, really.
Today I'm wearing Malcolm McLaren bondage trousers from Malcolm McLaren's Dead in England collection, which is like 1990, which is a tribute to his past. A AChildofTheJago boating blazer, which is very current, probably 2012, and a reproduction Anarchy shirt by a guy called Jim, or Seditionaries London. It just says, "Only anarchists are pretty."
Very true.
Yeah, what I'm wearing today, I'm wearing a pair of Spider-Man boots, Seditionaries Spider-Man boots. The trousers are what's called a businessman striped trouser with the silk pockets. Unfortunately, they're looking a bit tired now, obviously very old. Obviously the parachute shirt, original Seditionaries parachute shirt. And and this is a brand new jacket today from Vivian, so new and old.
Again, another reproduction, but it's Oliver Twist design Anki, which was actually it was the bill that Malcolm McLaren produced for the last ever Sex Pistols gig in England, 1977 Huddersfield, for a children's charity and actually for the firemen who was on strike at the time.
My favourite bands, early bands, obviously the Sex Pistols, Adam and the Ants, various bands like that, Buzzcocks, and then we went on to the later bands. I was a big Southern Deathcore fan, UKDK, followed quite a few bands as well. Always wearing the clothes at the same time, always following the bands.
I've been going to World's End for quite a long time, and at the time we got a new band called She Sheriff. They played on a Friday, or it could be Thursday, and we went down on a Saturday. They got a terrible review. It was in World's End, and next minute Malcolm McLaren come bursting in. I was in the shop with my friends, and he was pointed round and said, "You boy, get out my shop." And I thought, oh, this is Malcolm McLaren. And I thought to myself, it's not a good time to ask for an autograph. And he was fuming, and he was pointing and shouting. So we went out the shop, still being quite young. We pushed our faces against the window to see if we could hear anything. And he picked up the phone, you could hear him swearing and shouting. And after about 10 minutes or so, he came storming back out. Then he just sort of vanished like magic. So we went back in, and we found out he'd sacked the band. Now that is a true story.
My mum and dad came up to see us one day. I've been married about 10 years, and my mum and dad came up one day, and my mum says, "Oh, your dad's just been clearing the big cupboard out." The big cupboard was a cupboard that kind of went over the stairs in my bedroom. "Your dad's just been clearing the big cupboard out, and he's thrown all them filthy T-shirts out that you bought from that shop in London." Now they must have been worth thousands, and he'd literally, well, they'd be thousands now, and he'd literally thrown them all away. So I just never had the forethought to keep it. I admire guys like Tony across the road's kept all his stuff, and other guys have, thought to buy it up or collect it and blag it off people. At least they had the foresight to keep it. All mine's gone to God. It's all gone. So.